The Genuine Scooter Company Roughhouse, the last new scooter you can buy with a two-stroke engine. What's that mean? For starters, the classic two-stroke buzz. That comes from the tiny 50cc engine, and as 50cc scooters go, it's a pretty spunky 50cc. Outside of the Roughhouse and its sister scooter, the Buddy 50cc, these are the only two-stroke scooters left. All other modern 50cc scooters have a four-stroke engine. Those struggle to get above 30 miles per hour. The Roughhouse can do, depending upon rider weight, 45, maybe even 50 if you're light enough. And before someone comments, yes, that is with restrictors removed. FYI, the dealer I purchased this from handed me the bag, factory sealed with the restrictors in it, and said those don't come on the scooter automatically anymore. We actually have to add them for anyone that needs it down to 30 miles per hour. So if you're buying one of these from a dealer that tries to upcharge you to de-restrict the scooter, you might want to have a conversation about that. I've loved this little Roughhouse scooter. It's my reintroduction back into scooters after quite a few years without one, which has been rare. I've been a scooter rider for as long as I can remember. As a matter of fact, my very first video on what would eventually become Kev Central was a scooter video. Coincidentally, it was another Genuine Scooter Company scooter, the Stella, back when you could buy one of those and they were the new cool scooter. After my hiatus, I wanted back into scootering. I started feeling the itch. I wanted something fun, but also something that was potentially less dangerous. Hence my selection of a 50cc to keep me off of main or busier streets. Once I was locked in there, it was just a matter of which model. Of course, that decided itself because I wanted something vintage. I like vintage style scooters. I like that vintage sound of the engine, but I also wanted something comfortable. That means modern, which led me to this scooter. And like I said, it's been a fun little scooter to ride. I've taken this little 50cc across the bridge, which is kind of a no-no for 50cc scooters because there's a hill leading up to it. Done that multiple times. I've ridden this little Roughhouse on back roads all the way to both Tennessee and Mississippi. And I promise you, that's a journey on 50cc's. Even if it will burst up to 45 miles per hour with me on it, that's not a usable, consistently sustainable top speed. Really talking about 37, 38 miles per hour as a riding around able to keep it at that speed for any long stretch type of speed. I've put over 1,400 miles on this little bike. I think the first 1,000 miles was within the first few months. A lot of riding. I've covered most of the key milestones on this scooter in other videos. I'll link those down in the description. What's different today though is that this is my last ride on this scooter. And you may rightfully be asking, if you love it so much and it's so awesome, why is this your last ride? Well, that goes down to one key factor that I didn't account for when I bought this. My area has a small but dedicated batch of vintage scooter riders. And I know most of them, and the second word got out that I had a new scooter, I started hearing from people wanting to ride. Except most of them ride 150cc or above bikes, and most of them have modified two-stroke engines that this little two-stroke Roughhouse just can't keep up with. Subplot here, there's also another intention that I had for this scooter. I was going to start moto vlogging with it. We were in pandemic world when I got this. I figured I could ride around town, document all the back streets, talk about random stuff, and it would be good footage. Well, it turns out back streets with all their stop signs and 30 to 35 mile per hour speed limits are not the best of content. I literally filmed terabytes of ride footage that ended up just too boring as I was going through editing for me to complete videos with. Now don't get me wrong, this is still a fun bike, and if all the other people I knew had 50cc scooters, oh, this would be the king of the hill, and a blast to ride with them, but that's not the case, and it's something I overlooked. Now we'll factor in that I do spend the majority of my time riding alone and not with groups, so well, this bike could do for that, right? Well, I did forget how much I like just random journeys. Being able to hit the trace and go all the way to Nashville if I wanted to. I can do that on a 150cc or above, not on this little 50. Well, that's probably a bad example because those trace rides are almost always with buddies. It's more fun when you're riding with others, and that is part of my riding when I do own a scooter. I now know that, and I do at least need to keep up so I don't hold them back. Now that means I could go back to a vintage bike, and that is a possibility. Maybe even an old classic might be coming back into my hands. We'll see about that. But I've also become addicted to modern scooter riding thanks to this little Roughhouse. Regular viewers of this channel will already know I purchased a Rattler 200. I ride it all the time. I hardly ride this now, so It had to go. As a matter of fact, by the time you're seeing this video, it's officially gone. The Roughhouse is no longer in my possession. Rattler is the official go-to scooter for me at this moment, but as I mentioned, I'm possibly going to expand that a little bit. So say goodbye to those cute bulging eyes on the Roughhouse and those forward foot pegs that make a small frame scooter feel like a larger bike. It's been a good, fun, and reliable scooter. I really like it. I like the Roughhouse Sport model. That's what I bought. A few extra perks, but really, they can't compete. The Rattler is that much better. As a matter of fact, I think the Rattler is a Roughhouse grown up. And it's been a good next step. We'll see how long I keep this, if it's my permanent go-to scooter, or if I revert back to my vintage Vespa tendencies. I've been laying around under the weather for the past 5 days, and this was the last footage I was working on, so I thought I can throw a voiceover on it, get it out of the way, and then move on to some other content. If you have any thoughts on me getting rid of the Roughhouse, a mistake, or you would have done the same thing, comment below. Thanks for watching Kev Central, and have a great day.